You are now entering Armbar Audio.
Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of Armbar Audio. I'm your host, Tim Farley, and alongside me is my trusted companion,
John Kearns. What's up, everybody?
So, this week we watched a bunch of non-WWE wrestling, as the shitty booking of last Friday's Crown Jewel event left a bad taste in my mouth. Among these many shows that we watched, John wanted to watch one, and I didn't think it could fit into my schedule, so John will tell you about this event.
This event being Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, which was available on Fight TV for the low price of $25. They showed the quarterfinal, semifinal, and finals of the Sea of Honor tournament, which was eventually won by Flip Gordon. In order to get us up to speed, what they did was they showed highlights of the first round and how everybody moved on. Flip Gordon beat Silas Young to move to the quarterfinals. I can't really remember anything. But anyway, the highlight matches that I really liked, Marty Scurll versus Flip Gordon was fantastic. Watch it if you get a chance.
Was that the final? No.
No, that wasn't the final.
I remember.
It was I think that was the semifinal, was Flip and Marty. The other semifinal ended up being Jay Briscoe versus Mark Briscoe, which was a damn good match.
I saw highlights. It looks really good. I can't wait to watch it.
The final, which you have to watch if you get a chance, was Jay Briscoe versus Flip Gordon. And that match, with two people that you really wouldn't think would be a good fit for each other, put on an amazing match for that crowd.
You know, John, more often than not, I feel like when you think that two guys won't have chemistry, they really do.
Yeah.
And then two guys who you think will have amazing chemistry, not so much.
That definitely happened with Jay Briscoe and Flip Gordon. The show started, and I caught myself being like, I'm watching a wrestling show surrounded by water on a boat right now. It was the weirdest. It's definitely the most unique venue I've ever seen for wrestling. But yeah, the whole tournament was really good. But the bulk of what I want to talk about is how awesome the main event match was, which was the Alpha Club versus the Bullet Club. You had Kenny Omega, Marty Scurll, and Cody Rhodes
Against
the
Bucks of Jericho. Or is it Y2 Jackson?
Y2 Jackson is the better name.
No, that's the whole name. Jericho said it.
That is the whole name, but I would prefer if it was just Y2 Jackson. Because that's the better name to me. This match had a lot of great spots. It started off with some lucha dodging between Nick Jackson and Marty Scurll.
Lucha dodging!
We got a little bit of Kenny and Jericho in the ring together, which was awesome, of course. We got some Cody and Jericho, which was really cool to see.
Yeah.
It's a one-on-one match that I hope we get to see in the future, possibly for the IWGP US title.
I wonder if we saw it before.
We probably did. I'm sure we did. But yeah, it just overall didn't really want to do an in-depth thing. Just highlight the fact that if you get an opportunity, you need to see it. On Being the Elite, we got to see a little bit of their finale match, which happened after all the other stuff was going on, where all the Being the Elite characters or guys were dressed as Mario characters.
I think more specifically like Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party, but yeah for sure. You had Hangman Page as Yoshi. You had Kenny Omega as Toad,
who wanted to be a girl.
Yeah, on Being the Elite, they were all showing off their costumes, and they were saying, "Come on, Kenny, you look great. Come on." And he was like, "I don't wanna." And he's like, "No, come on, you look fantastic." And he walks on dressed as Toad and says, "You promised I could be a girl this year."
And then he said, "That's kind of my thing."
Yeah. Brandy and
one of the Jackson
wives were Peach and Daisy. But yeah, the whole thing was cool.
Skrull was Wario. The Jacksons.
The Jacksons were Mario and Luigi, and they kept the joke going with Nick being Luigi that he was not happy about.
And Cody was who?
Cody was Bowser.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Because when I saw it, I was like, of course he's Bowser. Yeah, that was awesome.
And I wish that existed on the Jericho Cruise show because I'd love to see the whole match.
There's some stuff that I really want to see.
Yeah, like you want to see LAX versus the Young Bucks.
I have to see it because they're my two favorite tag teams. And if you have Impact versus ROH, why wasn't it distributed at all? Like, I get that maybe like right now that's what they wanted to focus on, but they could have made like another purchase that's just like Impact versus ROH.
Definitely. So, because what I wanted to see was, and the whole time, you saw it on Being the Elite, with the Mario characters match, the crowd was chanting for the Mario character and not the wrestler. Yeah. So, like, Hangman Page got tagged in, and they're like, Yoshi.
And then when he jumped off and did the elbow to the arm, it was very Yoshi, like,
he did with the leg kicks.
It's hilarious.
So, yeah, that's it. Jericho Cruise, good show. Super fun. Watch it if you get a chance. Kind of encompasses the whole feeling. If he does the cruise next year, you bet your ass I'm trying my damnedest to get on that boat. If I'm able to, if he does it next year, y'all can look forward to vlogs on the Armbar Audio YouTube of me on the damn boat. I can't wait to see if it happens.
And next week, we possibly have someone who was on the cruise to come and talk about his experience. I will not name names, and I will not say it's a guarantee, as schedules conflict. But right now, we're
card
looking to do
subject
that.
to change.
Yeah, card subject to change. But anyway, that leads us into what happened last Saturday in New Japan, Power Struggle.
Yes.
I told John that we're only going for the main event matches.
Yeah.
The matches before the main event, furthered storylines.
I mean, they're all good
fun,
stuff, but New Japan shows are just so long.
Yeah. So we'll go with the Super Tag, the Super Junior Tag final between the champions, Desperado and Yosh Kanemaru, against Roppongi 3K and Shingo the Dragon and Bushi.
And unfortunately with me watching the Jericho stuff and all the Lucha and all that, I only saw, from Power Struggle, Naito and Zack Sabre Jr. and Jericho and Evil.
So the last two matches.
Yeah, so I'll let you cover the tag stuff.
Okay, so the tag, I was very impressed by the champs, especially El Desperado. He really stepped his game up. Like, he was doing moves.
I like El Desperado.
I never seen him do the moves that he was doing, and they actually did really good teamwork, which usually they just do, like, really underhanded heel tactics that are just, like, old school.
Suzuki gun.
But, like, this was, like, kind of a coming out party for two. I don't know how old Desperado is, but Kanemaru is old.
But even not speaking about age, two of the lesser-known Suzuki Gun guys.
Right. Shingo had some really good offense. He was running back and forth with the lariats and stuff like that. Roppongi 3K won the second year in a row. They did great. All three teams will battle at Wrestle Kingdom 13 for the junior heavyweight tag team titles.
Right. I can't wait.
I don't know why Shingo and Bushi are in. Maybe it's because they didn't take the pin. But yeah, it will be great because this match was pretty damn good, and wrestlers get more excited and more ready for the biggest show of the year. So I'm just super happy that Shingo is in New Japan because
he's cool. I like him.
He has been great ever since I started watching him in 2010. And there was Dragon Gate USA, and then it folded. Dragon Gate UK it folded, but he was a Dragon Gate guy through and through, and he won everything. He did everything he could for that company, and now he's in the biggest Japanese promotion, and I'm so happy. And his look is perfect for LIJ. Yeah, and so aside from those things, that's all I got to say about the tag final. Next, we had the Never Openweight title, which was supposed to be Tai Chi versus Will Ospreay, but Will Ospreay got injured. I believe the story would have been going into Wrestle Kingdom 13, Will Ospreay winning here and going against Kota Ibushi. But since Ospreay's injured, it's Tai Chi versus Goto. I definitely believe that the title going to Tai Chi was more of a service award for putting on the weight, for going, for being such a prominent member of Suzuki-gun. I knew he would be a transitional champion because with the Will Ospreay stuff. But since it's Goto, what did we see in San Francisco earlier this year in Fighting Spirit Unleashed? There was a huge tease between Cobb and Goto. And I believe that's where this is going to head because Goto ended up winning back the Never Openweight title. The match was okay. You know, Goto's a solid worker, Tai Chi's a solid worker, so it's a solid match. But Goto seems like he's solid, but if he's in there with a great opponent, the match is great. But he's majorly like just a solid guy,
right?
You know, and I think this is setting up for a Cobb match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Very nice.
As Cobb is under ROH contract and the television champion, maybe it'll be a dual championship match. The next match was my match of the evening. The British heavyweight title from Rev Pro being defended by Tomohiro Ishii against Minoru Suzuki.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go back and watch that one.
I talk a lot about standing out on shows, and many times with Japanese wrestling shows, we get that standoff exchange of forearms.
Yeah.
You know, who can take the most? And sometimes it's not believable because they're smaller guys. Sometimes it's like, okay, I've seen this too many times. But with two guys like Ishii and Suzuki, you believe it. Because you know they're badasses. You know Suzuki's past in MMA. You know Ishii's booking ever since he's became a thing. He's the Stone Pitbull.
And Ishii can throw some damn forearms.
And it wasn't just forearms. We got kicks. We got chops. We got open face palm strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a fucking brutal match, test of strength type deal the whole way through. Suzuki locked the choke in, but then to his detriment, spun Ishii around for the Gotch neutralizer, but Ishii had none of it. Ishii won a hard-fought battle with a legendary badass with the high-angle brainbuster. And if you have a chance, go check out this match because it's just fantastic. The penultimate competition was Tetsuya Naito, the leader of Los Ingobernables de Japón, against the lanky prick, the technical wizard, Zack Sabre Jr.
This match,
you talk first.
Yeah, was so fucking good. Such a good match. Zack Sabre Jr. is the submission king of pro wrestling. I don't care. I mean, I love Daniel Bryan. I love Drew Gulak. If we could somehow see a triple threat submission contest with ZSJ, Drew Gulak, and Daniel Bryan, it would be amazing.
In my notes, I said Sabre is like if you took the old Daniel Bryan's technical ability and times it by 100.
Okay, yeah, I see that in that.
Because Daniel Bryan on the Indies and ROH in Japan, he was very much technical.
Yeah.
To where the point, Wrestling Observer uses his name as the best technical wrestler of the year. Nice. So like Zack Sabre Jr. I think won it last year, but it's the Daniel Bryan Award.
That's cool.
But dude, Zack Sabre Jr. is carving out his own legacy.
Yeah, he is. Oh yeah.
His flexibility and like the way he can maneuver around people. It's just a sight to see, especially in a promotion that's laden with strong style and lucha type stuff.
And his height and his length is such an advantage for him because he's able he's able to tie up a guy's leg and a guy's neck at the same time with
Right.
no issue.
Right.
It's just, and Naito is cool as a cucumber the whole time because he's tranquilo, and Naito,
in his head, he's tranquilo.
Yeah.
But his match style, like when he gets going, he's very explosive.
Very
so
explosive,
it was like explosiveness against the submission machine. So it was like kind of a
where
Sabre just trying to neutralize the explosiveness.
Yeah, Sabre spent a lot of the match trying to slow it down.
Yeah.
And Naito spent a lot of the match pretty much trying to evade the holds and the twisting that Zack is known for. But I think at the end it was... Do you have it written here?
Yeah, Naito,
Naito won. Yeah, Naito did
the
pick up the win. The Destino, which is one of my favorite finishing moves in wrestling right now.
I as much as I like this match, I didn't understand why it was put together. Like, I understand in March, Zack beat Naito in the New Japan World Cup, but
yeah,
I don't know why they were paired together. But it was cool. It was a really good match.
The feud was kind of reignited by the G1, where Naito. I think it was Naito got the quick win on Zack, or did Zack get the quick win on Naito?
One or the other.
No, it was Naito got the quick win on Zack, and Zack was infuriated.
So then he went after Evil. And then Jericho went after Evil.
Yeah.
So then, okay, that makes sense.
So Naito had to get freed up for something.
Right. Then we got the last match on the card. The Intercontinental Champion, Chris Jericho, who fears no evil, against... Everything is evil. The King of Darkness. Evil.
Evil. That's the man's name.
Okay. Jericho said he fears no evil and that he's doing evil a favor by getting in the ring with him. Jericho promised to make evil famous. I really liked that Evil attacked Jericho while Jericho was still undressing, giving Jericho a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah.
There was a huge backdrop outside to Evil countering a powerbomb through a table attempt, turned the tides in favor of Jericho. Jericho hit a DDT on a table and then a nice lion salt.
Every table spot in New Japan looks brutal.
This is another thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
In America you have a lot of usually the tables breaking.
Yeah.
And it makes for, like, oh, wow factor.
Yeah.
But if you watch wrestling and with, like, your suspense of disbelief and, like, what's going to look real, when someone hits a table and it doesn't break, you know that that's going to hurt worse.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho tried the walls, but Evil got to the rope. Evil hit the Darkness Falls for 2. A big STO for 2. Evil even did a STO off the apron through a table. It was just really good back and forth stuff. There was a code breaker for 2. Ultimately, Jericho puts the walls on and turns it into the Lion Tamer to retain. After Jericho locks it on again, but Naito makes the save. Naito says he's next in line for Jericho. Post-match, Jericho says Evil gave him one of the best matches and is a tough son of a bitch, but he won like he said he would, and he refuses Naito's challenge and says he's already beat him in this shithole Osaka. He also said he beats the Japanese every time he comes to Japan. Then we learn...
Unfortunately for Mr. Jericho...
Yeah.
The match is on anyway.
The New Japan brass say that that match is going to happen, whether Jericho likes it or not.
Jericho versus Naito.
Yes. And we will talk about the press conference in our preview to Wrestle Kingdom 13. Yeah, to me,
a lot of stuff going on.
Match of the night was Ishii versus Suzuki. Little side note, Chuck Taylor as entertaining as he is on social media and as a wrestler, is boring on commentary.
Yeah.
I've watched PWG, but I never pay attention to the sounds other than the crowd. and what the wrestlers are saying in the ring, so I don't really know. I've never really gotten the feel for how Chuck Taylor is on the mic as a commentator, but for a show like this, he was just super boring. It sounded like he didn't really want to be there. And if he did, maybe it's just his personality. Maybe he's just like really laid back and dry and stuff, but it's just, it didn't work for me. Yeah, I had to stop and start this show multiple times.
Yeah,
basically
honestly,
because his commentary made me sleepy. Not interested.
Kevin Kelly could commentate every show by himself and be fine.
I agree.
Kevin Kelly's amazing.
I agree.
All right, we're going to move on from New Japan Power Struggle to some more in-depth reviews. Two shows that we both watched actually in full. We've got Impact Wrestling's Final Hour.
Yes.
Followed by Ultima Lucha Cuatro Part 2.
A.K.A. the Season 4 finale.
Season 4 finale. We're going to go into Impact first. What do you got?
All right, so this show was called Final Hour because Killer Cross says TikTok Annihilation is coming. So basically, they made this special episode based around Killer Cross.
Killer Cross versus
there was Killer Cross and Moose were a part of the Austin Aries stable. Aries obviously is gone now. Yeah. So they are trying to pick up the pieces with Moose and Cross. The first match on the card was the OGs with King against the Lucha Brothers. And this is because the bosses, not in the streets, not Impact bosses, told King that the OGs cannot go after LAX anymore, that the score is settled. They have to deal with it. So King said, fine, I'll go after Conan's other boys, Pentagon and Phoenix. There's really not much to say about this match. Hernandez had a great dive to the outside, so did Ray. Ray with a beautiful swanton, followed by a double stomp from Pentagon. And then Pentagon grabbed Phoenix and did this wheelbarrow type move that had Phoenix slamming. Yeah. Pentagon slamming Phoenix onto Hernandez for the win. For as much as the OGs have had nice vignettes and build since they've come onto the scene, this was a quick match that didn't do any of the four men involved any favors. And if it was a little bit longer, and I would have cut, maybe a little bit, some things off of the show to give this match more time. Yeah. It was okay for what it was, but it was the only match on the card that I would not say was good. This was passable.
I thought it was a little better than that. What I said was, as much as I love seeing Pentagon and Phoenix fight each other, watching them work together is a thing of beauty. Because the combination moves that they do are so unique and innovative. I love them. Yes. I love the Lucha Brothers as a team.
Zero miedo. Animo! So then, after that match, we got the debut of Thick Mama Pump, Jordynne Grace. If you are not familiar with Jordynne Grace, she was the female
under a rock.
She was the female that stood out in the All-In 0 Hour Battle Royal. And she has been in Beyond Wrestling, Women's Wrestling Revolution, Shine, etc., etc. She wrestles against Katarina, who was formerly Winter, who was formerly Katie Burchill. Yep. Cyrus compares Jordynne Grace to Rhino, which I really thought was interesting. Jordynne is going to kill you chance, start the match. Jordynne with a press slam off the top, which hurls Katrina across the ring. Katrina hits an inside-out step-through DDT, but plays to the crowd and gets caught in a crazy, aggressive bear hug by Jordynne Grace, who wins with a tap-out. I thought it was a great debut.
Oh, yeah.
It established Jordynne as a threat. It made her look strong. She tried to go for her her finisher, which is the pump handle driver, but Katarina got out of it.
Yeah.
But she ended up winning with a fucking bear hug. And usually I hate seeing bear hugs, but this was great.
It works for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, since Impact have a great relationship with Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
That either he manages her, or they fight each other, or something. Something has to happen there. Thick Mama Pump and what was his name?
Big Papa
Pump need to have some type of interaction there.
Impact doesn't really seem concerned, or not concerned with, but they don't seem to have their finger on the pulse of the intergender wrestling thing quite yet.
They might be a little afraid to do it.
But I think they could definitely get the ball rolling with, like you said, Jordan Grace versus Scott Steiner.
Yeah, because Scott Steiner could say some sexist stuff.
Yeah.
About being a freak and all that.
Well, because he is a sexist freak.
No, calling her one of his freaks.
Yeah.
She's not a wrestler. She's just one of his freaks and this and that. And Jordan just goes ham on him. Because in mainstream wrestling, even in WWE, sometimes the lines are crossed with intergender wrestling. It's not usual. It's not always. But there are certain circumstances where that happens. The earliest memory I have is Sable and Mark Merrow. There has been other times where women and men have fought. Look at WrestleMania, Triple H and Ronda Rousey. But when we were talking about this show and we were talking about Lucha Underground, Lucha Underground does the intergender stuff because Lucha Underground sees itself as a show and not just a professional wrestling show. And it has characters that it's like a video game or a comic book. And in video games and comic books, females fight men.
Yeah, and
so it's
the men and women on Lucha Underground don't see themselves as female stars and male stars. They see themselves as wrestlers.
Yes, and that's happening on the independent scene as well. But as I was saying, Lucha Underground is separate from Impact. And Impact, I don't know where they're trying to go or where they're going to go. I mean, they could go there, they could not go there. It's up to them. But yeah, I could see her laying Steiner out.
Oh yeah.
So
and it's awesome to see the intergender stuff on the indies and on Lucha Underground because it's done in a very respectful way, and it's done in a way where the man and the woman, when they fight each other, it's a very sportsmanlike fight, and it's a very I'd say respectful. I'd say that again.
One of my favorite independent matches like that was Beyond Wrestling, held at WrestleCon this past WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Just a whole mixed show. I believe it was called All Mixed Up or something. And Matt Riddle wrestled Deonna Purrazzo. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I believe Team Pog, Fat Ass White Girls, Jordan Grace and Lufisto, I believe they wrestled LAX. It was awesome.
And I feel like it's almost like giving the female wrestlers more credit.
Yeah. Instead of saying this is a woman's revolution, this is equality. This
is a wrestling revolution.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's if you've been following
wrestling is literally evolving.
Right. And if you've been following us since our previous podcast and this podcast, you know there's always some type of women's wrestling showcased at least every other week. And the reason is just it's so fresh and new to see in the West women being taken seriously as wrestlers, and it's just a breath of fresh air, and I like to watch it. It's nothing sexual because they're not presented as sexual beings like Vince used to present them in the old days, which is fine because wrestling imitates life.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around. They're always building off of what pop culture is going off of and everything. That's why it took so long for this to happen in the West. Yeah, you know, Ronda Rousey had to do what she did. Mia Hamm had to do what she did in soccer.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
to get WWE to even do this kind of stuff. So
now that I'm thinking about it, you could give a lot of credit to comic book movies.
That too.
And how, because you're seeing a character like Black Widow taking on Thanos essentially by herself for a section of the fight. You
got Wonder Woman.
Ultron, you got Wonder Woman.
You're getting Captain Marvel. I mean, it's...
So little girls are watching these movies and
getting empowered.
And now McMahon and other wrestling companies are finally saying, hey, we can use this.
Well, it's mainly McMahon because the other wrestling companies have been...
We're already doing it.
Yeah.
And McMahon saying, look, man, we can give little girls this same feeling. And finally he woke up and realized that women can be wrestlers. And now you got Charlotte, you got Becky, you got Sasha Banks and Bayley, and they're all wrestlers.
Right.
I love it.
And anyway,
that was a tangent.
Yeah, but you know what? It's our show. Why the hell can't we do it? You'll like it.
I didn't say there's nothing wrong. I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. Just
right. So anyway, back to Impact Final Hour. Last week, it was supposed to be Brian Cage invading Sami Callihan's fortress in Ohio, but Sami made this out to be a joke. It was a fake Brian Cage, and they all beat up on him.
Yeah.
So the real Brian Cage, storms through Rockstar Pro Wrestling, beating up security outside and getting into the ring. Cage calls out Callahan after just as Cage looks for the drill claw over OVE enter, and he takes out both Chris brothers. Two more guys come out. He takes them out. Two more guys come out. He takes them out. He F5s one of them onto the other. Then he's standing there playing to the crowd, you know, saying, oh, look how strong I am, and blah, blah, blah. Well, unfortunately, all 6 men get back up and hold on to each limb and head Brian Cage, and Callahan takes the X Division title, whaps him in the head with it. One guy does a shoulder tackle, then we get a swanton, then we get the all-seeing eye from Jake Christ, and then we get thumbs up, thumbs down, pile driver from Sami Callihan. All the guys are standing above Cage as Callahan holds the X Division title, and he says, Ohio versus everyone. Ohio versus everyone, or everything, everything, everything. And the crowd's chanting, everything, everything. So I thought this segment was great because it didn't make Cage look weak at all.
Yeah.
It made him actually look stronger.
Yeah.
And it showed Callahan as this fantastic Ohio scene of wrestlers. So I'm really excited for next week whenever we get to see Callahan versus Cage in the X Division title match. After this, we get a segment with Taya Valkyrie talking, and she says that she talks about Tessa retaining the Impact's Knockout title via DQ, and she says she wants a no DQ, a street fight, or whatever it takes, because she came to Impact for one reason, and that is to become the Impact Knockouts champion. You know, she talks about how Tessa was afraid and had to get the DQ win and such. I thought that was a little cool moment. You know, still building that feud. After this, John, we get fan videos sent to Scarlett Bordeaux for her talent search.
Boy, this is
absolutely hilarious.
It's an odd choice for a segment on a special show, though, isn't it not?
Correct. Which leads into KM and Falaba going up to her begging to be picked as her talents. She said next week they're in Las Vegas, and if they can win her something, she may pick them. As I said at the beginning of the show, I would have shaved something off for more time for the OGs in Pentagon. The Lucha Brothers, I would have totally taken this part out. I mean, they're still doing the GFW stuff with the old, But they're cutting it down. You know, it's not a whole match anymore. It's not even half a match. It's just still, like, but
it's still not needed.
It's not needed, but I understand why it's there. This on a special episode, don't get it. I guess it's to promote the Las Vegas stuff coming up. But still,
which does need done.
I don't know. It just made me think that this could be scrapped, and the OGs and Lucha Brothers could have had a little bit more time. We then go into the match between Eddie Edwards and his former best friend, Moose. Douche.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No. I didn't watch most of this match as I had prior things going on. But Eddie Edwards lost in a valiant and entertaining wrestling match from what I saw. Eddie countered a spear into a spear and hit a beautiful Tiger Driver for 2. Yep. Bruce won with a spear, and Alicia Edwards came out to console her estranged husband. Anything you want to say about this match?
The match in and of itself, it was a pretty decent fight. You had a lot of cool outside of the ring stuff, some power bombs. Eddie Edwards smashed a beer over Moose's head.
Nice.
They worked their way around to the other side of the ring, and apparently on the ring post, the Impact Wrestling branding that's on the ring post, it's all a magnet that you can just pull off. And he did that. He pulled off that big magnet and was whipping Moose with it.
Nice.
And I was like, I just didn't know that was a thing.
Right.
And Moose eventually worked around to get in the upper hand, had Eddie Edwards slammed onto the floor, and Eddie went to slide into the ring, I guess, to try to grab something else. But Moose grabbed his legs and did the fallback guillotine thing, but with him under the ring. So his chin went into the steel post.
Nasty.
Really cool stuff. Really good fight. Awesome. Eddie, of course, smacked him with the kendo stick a couple times, and Moose got the kendo stick and smacked him a couple times. To get the match back into the ring, they were both up on the walkway, which, if you don't watch Impact, they have one of the walkways where it's level with the ring apron.
It's like old school WCW.
Yeah. So you had Moose up by the curtain and Eddie hanging on the ropes, but standing on the walkway. And Moose just starts haul-assing down that ramp, going straight for him. And Eddie jumps down onto the floor, and Moose goes through the ropes and rolls a couple times, and he's grabbing his neck, and that's how he got back into the ring to what you saw.
Nice.
Yeah,
sounds like a real good match.
Yeah.
We then see Allie and Kira Hogan in a stairwell, and they run into James Mitchell.
Father. James Mitchell.
Bound for Glory. Allie went into the undead realm, and she said, "I don't care, James. Whatever it takes, just get me there so I could get Kira back." And he even said to her, "You'll do anything," and she said yes. And she didn't go into the details. She didn't ask for the details of the deal.
Yeah.
Well, this is where we find out.
Pretty stupid.
James says he kept his end of the bargain, and it's time for Allie to keep hers. He tells her to embrace the darkness within herself, and she asks, "If I go, will you stay away from my friends forever?" And he says yes. She tells Kira this is not what she wants, but this is what she has to do.
Yeah.
And as she's grabbing hands with James Mitchell, Sue Young is there as well. And there's that undead realm type of graphic on their hands, and Allie goes with them. So James Mitchell, I guess, owns Allie's soul. Black. Yeah, which
if you watch Supernatural is the sure sign of a demon.
Well, there you go. James owns Allie's soul now, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Rosemary is close to coming back from her injury, and there will be
I hope so. I miss
hell
Rosemary.
to pay. Oh, me too, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
We get a post-match thing with Eddie Edwards and Alicia, and the doctor says his pupils are dilated and he has a concussion and he shouldn't be doing anything. And he says, I want Moose right now. Let's go after Moose. And Alicia's like, no, did you not just hear the doctor? And this is just like furthering their issues of communication and Eddie going off the deep end.
Yeah.
So like she's still his wife, of course. She's still consoling him, but she's really not digging his obsessions.
Dude.
He's been very obsessive. He was obsessive with Tommy. He's now obsessive with Moose.
Definitely.
So then we get Eli Drake and Joseph Parks in the ring.
Eli Drake.
Dummy. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. That isn't an insult. That is just a fact of life. I got an undeniable Kavorka. I'm sorry, you got me started on my Eli Drake. I love him. I'm
really coming around on Eli Drake.
Eli and Joseph are putting forth a class action lawsuit on Impact. Eli says he's the last of a dying breed, using his hands and feet and sometimes your words to take down an opponent, where from Bound for Glory and on, there's been a whole bunch of violent crap, and says a whole generation who were inspired by Abyss thinks they can walk in and do some deathmatch type work and become stars. And he said he's had enough of this. He tells Parks to talk after he says he could have dressed up. He was in a tracksuit.
He was dressed up. That's
what Don
Yeah.
Joseph says it's a
That is dressed up, Josh.
Joseph says it's an unsafe work environment, citing the OGs versus LAX match at Bound for Glory and the Abyss chokeslam to Eli Drake through the table.
Yeah.
They have more, even knockouts, who are joining the lawsuit.
It was funny when Joseph Parks was like, when Chris, my brother Abyss, came out and beautifully chokeslammed you through that table, but hey, we'll give him a pass. He is a Hall of Famer after all.
Right.
It is Abyss, and that's...
And I believe before this was even a thing, you know, I think he came out and ended the kayfabe and said we're both the same person.
Yeah.
But, Joseph Parks says they have more people on the lawsuit, even knockouts, and as he's about to introduce them, Eli Drake starts putting a whooping on Joseph Parks, and he says that it's because of you. Your Abyss, you started this. You need to stop your career. You ruined this business. If you don't go, Eli will make him. Eli attacks with a chair over and over, and then gets in his face and tells him this is where it dies. Hardcore dies now. I love this because it gives Eli Drake a purpose.
Yes.
Which he really needed. As for the past few months, he hasn't been in a prime angle, and even though he is a front runner for the company, he was there. He was the champion before Aries came in. He did a lot of good work in his career there. He was signed to FCW. They dropped him. He basically rose to prominence and Impact, and he's still young, and he can still go, and he's great. And for months, as much as I've been enjoying the Impact product, I've been wondering why hasn't there been anything of substance with Eli Drake, and this gives him something of substance, which could lead into, after Abyss, going to Sami Callihan or Pentagon.
Yeah, good stuff.
Because those guys put a lot of bloody matches together. Then we get the final match on the card. Johnny Impact, the Impact World Champion
of the final hour.
Yes, the final match of the final hour against Killer Cross. I really like how Johnny Impact is being portrayed now. He reminds me of a Bret Hart type champion, as he is taking on any and all types of opponents.
Yeah.
Last week he wrestled Phoenix, which is a cruiserweight. Today he gets a psychotic, tall, big dude in Killer Cross. And he's doing it to the Johnny standard, you know, a great match every time. Before this, in the early parts of the show, we got a interview with Moose and Killer Cross, and Killer Cross cut a mesmerizing promo.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much from him, especially in this show. But man, the guy, whoever found
he's a
him,
promo dude.
Whoever found him from Mexico, because you know he does seem like he's a United States born, but he went to Mexico. Whoever found him, they found a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
But the match was really awesome. We got a point where they were on the ramp way, and Killer Cross put up Johnny Mundo, or Johnny Impact, in a Razor's Edge.
The next segment.
And he walks down the ramp and just tosses him
right over the ropes into the ring.
Yeah, but it wasn't even just into the ring. It was like across the ring.
Yeah.
After that, Johnny tossed him out of the Cross out of the ring and hit him with a double stomp off the apron. He got him in a lion tamer. Killer Cross got him in a lion tamer. Johnny got out. Johnny hit the call for impact, or countdown to impact, which is like a cartwheel elbow drop off the top rope for 2. Cross hit a gut wrench slam, and then transitioned right into a power bomb, and it was beautiful. He looked for the choke, but Impact gets out and hits many kicks. Cross goes for the throat, but Johnny hits a Hurricane Rana and retains with the Starship Pain. Cross looked good, and I'd say within 6 months to a year, he could be ready for a real main event run. What did you think about this match?
I agree with you. Just with what you said about Killer Cross just then, I totally agree. The dude is good in every aspect, in the promo, the ring work, the charisma.
He just needs some time to solidify.
Yeah. And hopefully, maybe he could get that with Lucha Underground, because he is part of that roster as the White Rabbit, leader of the White Rabbit tribe.
Yes. So, obviously, Lucha Underground brass and Impact brass see him as a someone to build around.
And or
I believe that
at least someone to focus on.
Yeah, I think WWE even tried to sign him, but he didn't sign yet. There's been a lot of talk this week about WWE trying to get New Japan talent, indie talent, all that shit.
Yeah. And I want to say that Killer Cross was one of the original TNA guys. I think he was, because I watched the original TNA, and I feel like I remember him.
Or maybe someone who was like
someone like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he reminds me of Crimson, but with like
more
talent.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I would agree with that.
Not the talent. Not that Crimson was bad at all. He was, but he wasn't great.
Right. It was
I think Killer Cross is great.
Yeah. Crimson was like a Hernandez or a Matt Moore.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas Cross is that boundary of big man.
Yeah.
And is a character. And that's something hard to find, especially when you're a big dude and people see you as that, and it's hard to break that mold.
I mean, think about like a guy like Braun Strowman. It took him a long time to get where he is now. Right.
I mean, his debut in the Wyatt family that year in the Royal Rumble.
Nobody cared.
Brock Lesnar annihilated him with knees.
Yeah.
And nobody cared. But then he became this Braun Strowman character, and he started really putting an effort on his character.
And I get these hands t-shirts are everywhere.
Exactly. So overall, I give this show a B+.
I'm ahead of myself.
That's all right. Overall, I give Impact Final Hour a B+. It furthered angles and stories, put on mostly good matches, but wasn't a pay-per-view-like event. Good job to Impact. You still have my attention. How about you, John?
They are consistently good.
What do you grade this match? I mean, this show.
The show? B plus seems fair to me. I make a solid B, just because
I'd give Power Struggle a solid B. I'd give this a B plus.
Did not care about the Charlotte Bordeaux segment.
About the what?
About the Charlotte Bordeaux segment.
Yeah.
I found myself not caring about the Eli Drake segment until the beatdown on Joseph Park. But yeah.
Understandable.
It's good stuff.
Yep. That's what B means. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So, our final review this week.
What I think we both agree was both of our favorite show this week.
Absolutely.
But it's a season finale. Season finales are usually good. And it's the only wrestling show that has seasons.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'll get into that whenever I give my grade for this show.
Ultima Lucha Cuatro Part Dos.
Starts off with Johnny Mundo getting ready for his match against Matanza in the evening. And
in his possession is the Gauntlet of the Gods.
Yes. And he's talking to Taya. He walks away and Taya looks at the doll. And the doll starts talking to
doll
her.
that Ricky
Rosa
had.
starts talking to Taya. And Taya's like, I like you. And then Rosa says, I like you too. And I want you as a host. And you see Taya going like this. And she is now a host for the fucking doll. And I'm just like, what? This is crazy. But, like, I don't understand how I could still keep having those reactions after watching this show so much.
Yeah.
You know, it should just be normal to me, but it's still fresh all the time.
Lucha Underground is banana sandwich as a wrestling show. It's insanity.
Yeah. The first match is a 2 out of 3 falls match between Dragon Azteca Jr. against Dark Phoenix. Now, this match is all based on friends and lovers. Melissa Santos was in love with Phoenix. Katrina killed Phoenix. When Katrina was about to die, she gave her a medallion. Aerostar came with the other part of the medallion and said, this can revive Phoenix if you want to. And even though Aerostar knew the dangers and saw the future, he allowed Melissa to revive him. Through the past couple of episodes, we've seen the Phoenix of old transform into this very aggressive, apathetic character.
What the fans have been referring to him as Dark Phoenix.
Right.
But they're not doing that on the show.
He was friends, and Azteca is Melissa Santos' friend, so he's basically fighting for her. There was a lot of slaps in the beginning. There's a lot of back and forth. Azteca seemed to have the momentum until Phoenix rolled out of the way of a high-risk maneuver. Yep. Phoenix picks up the first fall with a pin following the Muscle Buster driver, which is now known as the Blackbird driver, as we come to know at the end of the match. He is staring at Melissa Santos, who was his lover before he died. Dragon is his... okay, great. Phoenix throws a chair, and I was reading my notes, I already said half that shit. Phoenix throws a chair in the ring and sets it up in the corner. Then Phoenix sets a table up on the outside. A beautiful 1-foot drop kick to a seated Phoenix from Dragon. I mean, it was fantastic. Yeah. The crispness of Dragon Azteca's moves are up there with Alberto Del Rio and Flip Gordon.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And that's the only good thing you'll ever hear out of my mouth about Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
Or whatever his fucking name is.
He's a bit of a shit, isn't he?
Yeah. Bit of a shit. Yeah. Dragon gets a fall with a pin from a tilt-a-whirl pop-up spike DDT. It's the only way I could describe it. But, you know, it's like maybe a UFO DDT or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
The exact name. At this, as we were tied at 1-1, Papa Cueto comes out and says... as he likes the match, he wants to make it a false count anywhere.
Voice.
A false count anywhere match.
You got to do the voice. Come on.
Phoenix takes this time to get up, and as Cueto exits the area, he hits Dragon with a chair. Phoenix goes to the apron and attempts to suplex through the table, but Dragon stops it. He turns Phoenix around and kicks him off the apron. Phoenix heads bounce off the table. Phoenix hits a bridging German on the outside for 2. Phoenix puts the table in the ring. Beautiful springboard dropkick from Dragon Azteca. Dragon sets up the table in the ring and goes out to get Phoenix. They beat the shit out of each other until Dragon hits the DDT again. Yeah. They go up to the first level of fans and trade forearms, both on the rail ledge where the fans are, and Dragon hits
where the believers are.
Yeah, the believers. Yeah. My bad. And they hit the Rana. Dragon hits a Rana off and through a table, and Phoenix kicked out. Phoenix hit a swanton off the top, hoping to go through the table, but just hits the lip of the table and it doesn't break. Ouch. Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, it doesn't bother me when they don't break. It makes me feel like it hurts more. Dragon with a leg lock powerbomb type of pin. It's like they were both on the top rope. Dragon put his head down in between Phoenix's legs and his legs around his midsection and flipped him over into like a sit-out bomb. I don't know the actual name for the move, but it was beautiful, and he only got a 2. At this point, Melissa tries to stop Dragon and says that neither of them should be fighting. This needs to stop. And this distraction gives Phoenix the time to hit the Blackbird driver and win the match.
Yep.
Santos doesn't even want to make the announcement and leaves the ice chamber, or what is it?
Ice house.
Ice house, and
is what they call it.
And leaves as Phoenix is still undefeated in Ultima Lucha.
Yeah. What I thought about this match, what I wrote about this match, Lucha Underground consistently, continually, all the time excels in the storytelling department of pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And
outside and inside of the ring.
The whole thing with Melissa Santos highlighted their ability to tell stories in and out of the ring.
Right.
So I'm all for the continuation, hopefully, of this feud.
I agree.
So we got Santos left the building, went to commercial, came back from commercial, and we understand that she's not coming back. And
I have been in talks.
It was him. Okay, yeah.
For someone else to announce, as Melissa Santos has been very unhinged as of late, and she is Lucha royalty. Shaul Guerrero. She was trained in FCW. Married. I think she's married to Aiden English.
Yes.
She decided to get out of the business. I guess now she wants in the business. Shaul Guerrero is now the announcer for the show. And as the believers are excited...
If you don't know, it's the daughter of Eddie Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as the believers are excited, Famous B comes out and tries to say that if anyone should be announcing, it should be him. But here's my card. I don't even know who you are.
He's like, I don't know you or your family.
Right. He just shits on, what?
How do you not know? How?
And then Shaul calls him Famous Bitch. And mentions
says, excuse me.
She did say excuse me, too.
She says, excuse me.
To a big pop.
And the believers were like, oh. She did the Vicky thing. Yeah. Yep. It was awesome.
She mentions all the Guerreros by name as being Lucha Libre.
Chavo.
And calls him Famous Bitch. B says he will make her leave, threatening a fight. From behind, Chavo comes, taps him on the shoulder. Shaul turns him around and pokes him in the eye, like her dad would. Then hits the Three Amigos and sends him, hits the Three Amigos, and everyone's excited. Chavo's on the top rope. People are chanting Chavo, and he hits the frog splash.
Yep.
We get a feel-good moment, and we take a break.
Shaul definitely made her poppy proud.
Yes, and I hope I hope that this isn't the last we see of her.
Oh, definitely. I hope she's a regular.
Yeah.
So
The
here's
next
commercial.
match
Comes back from commercial, and we have Shaw Guerrero announce the death match between the Mac and Mil Muertes, the man of 1,000 deaths.
Right. And this all started whenever they were giving out the Gift of the God medallions, and Papa Cueto said, someone who wins this 7-way match, you can choose which medallion you take from someone and leave them out of the next match.
Yeah.
And Willie Mack went with Mil Muertes, as he felt he was the most comparable threat out of all of the competitors. This made Mil enraged. They had a haunted house match, which Mil won. They've been tagging against each other. The Mac came out and said he does not fear death, so he wants a death match against the man of 1,000 deaths. So that's the backstory to this. I'm not going to go through everything that happened. Mil Muertes brought out 2 coffins. 2 caskets, actually.
Were there 2 caskets?
Yeah. He brought one out at the beginning, and then he pulled another one.
Ah, I didn't
even
notice.
They were set up next to each other.
I didn't even notice.
And then he hit an X Factor on one of them to Willie Mack. The match ended with Willie Mack hitting a stunner.
For fuck's sake,
another stunner, hits him with a brick, then hits him with
another stunner.
Goes like this and says, Kunta Kinte 3000, motherfucker, and hits him with another stunner for the 3. He opens up the coffin.
At one point, they were swinging an axe at each other.
Yes,
Are you fucking kidding?
Because in one of the coffins, there was like 2 garbage cans, and they were all filled with toys.
Yeah,
and the axe came into play. This match was off the wall bonkers, and afterwards, the Mac rolled him in there.
Coffin.
Called for 2 Steve Weisers, or Mac Weisers, if you will. Some on him, some on him. Shuts the case, grabs more beer. Then we go to a commercial. This match was great, really cool. And I like to see the Mac get a comeuppance. We come back for the Sacrifice to the Gods match between Johnny Mundo.
There you go. I have some thoughts about this one as well.
Against Matanza Cueto. Johnny stopped Matanza sacrificing Taya when Taya picked a fight with Matanza after Matanza ruined their wedding. This is the backstory of this match. King Cuerno had the gauntlet and gave it to Aerostar for safekeeping. When it was announced this would be a sacrifice match, Aerostar gave the power-wielding and persona-changing gauntlet to Johnny, because this year, Johnny has turned face and helped out Aerostar earlier in the season. Dario Cueto is pissed off. Not Dario, Antonio Cueto is pissed off and says he doesn't know how or why Johnny has the gauntlet, but it's not his, and he won't belong to you. He won't be going back to Slamtown with it. Matanza comes out in an awesome prop piece from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It was so
repurposed as an entrance outfit.
It was so cool. It was like Aztec warrior type stuff.
Then they went to break. They came back, and Matanza was in new gear, which was very tribal.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, Johnny hit him with the gauntlet, sent him into the corner and down to the ground. And Matanza realized he has to neutralize this. He gets him in an arm lock, shakes his arm. The gauntlet goes out by the believers. So basically this match was based around if Johnny could get this gauntlet.
Yeah.
I mean, he held up a good fight by himself, but we all know Matanza is one powerful monster. And the only person to beat him, I believe, in Lucha Underground history is Pentagon. I could be wrong, but I think that's true.
They said that, yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. This match featured, I said it to you, some of the best camera work I've ever seen in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And the venue, the ice house, the temple as they call it, was so well utilized in this match. Not just the ring, the entire venue.
Right.
We got to see Johnny Mundo do like real parkour. In a professional wrestling setting that made sense.
Okay, so if you never watched the show, there's like tiers of believers.
There's like the seating.
On the left-hand side, there is where the band plays on the second tier. Then there is above the office building. And then there's the ice box over here. So we get... Matanza gets the upper hand with his beautiful suplexes, and he's going after the gauntlet. Yeah. Mundo distracts him and gets his attention, goes under the ring, pops his head in and out of each side, distracting and confusing Matanza. This sends Johnny up the office. He jumps onto like an electric box.
What had happened was Matanza took the gauntlet and threw it, and it was laying on top of the walk-in freezer.
Yeah, the ice box.
Yeah.
So he jumps from where the fans are,
off of the bandstand,
or something like that. Yeah. He onto the electric box, onto the freezer. He's hanging. Matanza tries to get him. He eventually wins and hurls himself up there to get the gauntlet.
Yeah.
The fights take place over the gauntlet. Over the ice freezer. Matanza somehow gets it out of Johnny's hands and power bombs him through the freezer.
Yeah.
So Matanza makes his way down, and he thinks he's won.
They start playing his music even.
Yeah. And they think that Johnny's been sacrificed. Think again. Johnny swings open the door with the gauntlet on.
The fog comes out.
And he's like,
it's
like that. Hell? And I'm just like, that's awesome.
It's a movie.
And eventually, he did like 3 Superman punches that didn't take him all the way down.
Yeah.
Then he did a Superman punch off the top rope and then hit the
using the gauntlet, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he hit the he won with a Superman punch after he gave the middle finger with the gauntlet to Papa Cueto. After the match, we see Mundo run into Aerostar. Mundo runs into Aerostar, who warns Johnny of what will happen to him if he wears that gauntlet for much longer, saying that a god will enter you and you will just be a shell. Yeah. And in true Johnny Mundo fashion, he says, "No one inhabits this perfect body except me." And he gives Aerostar back the gauntlet.
Yeah.
We get a break, and we come back for the Lucha Underground title match, Cero Miedo match, Marty the Moth Martinez versus Pentagon. And boy, both of these men bled like Ric Flair and Abdullah the Butcher from back in the day.
Yeah.
This was not for the faint of heart.
No.
There was forks in the face. There was throwing through glass. There was tables. There was chairs. There was all kinds of shit. It was insane. There was a barbed wire baseball bat and a garbage can. At one point, Pentagon was in a garbage can in a tree of woe, and Marty was just banging the shit out of it with the baseball bat.
Yeah.
He opened up Pentagon's mask and put the fork in there. All this stuff happens. It was insane. Marty took kerosene, poured it over Pentagon, had a lighter, but was Zippo, and was playing too much to the crowd, which gave Pentagon time to recompose himself. The match...
He was going to burn that man.
Yeah. The match ended when Pentagon set up 6 chairs in the ring, hit the package pile driver, and won the title back from Marty the Moth Martinez. Now... after this, Reclusa attacks, but Vampiro runs in and gets Marty and Reclusa out of there.
Right.
Now, Vampiro was Pentagon's master, in the first season. And they had that blowout match at Ultima Lucha 1, which basically put Lucha Underground on the map. And Vampiro takes the title and he bestows it upon Pentagon. Pentagon takes it and holds it up. Vampiro turns him around, hits him in the nuts. Pentagon hits him in the nuts. Then they start trading kicks. Eventually, Vampiro gets the upper hand. And this guy, who's much thinner but looks like Pentagon, comes into the ring. And they both start double teaming Pentagon. And Vampiro gets a mic and says, "This is my master." And he had a hexagon on his forehead. His master tells him to take Pentagon outside. The master goes to the top of the entranceway and hits a beautiful shooting star press to the standing Pentagon. Vampiro throws Pentagon into the ring, and the master hits a red arrow. And just as they're about to do some more stuff, we hear the Savage Jake Strong music hit, and he comes down. The master tells Vampiro, "Let's go." You know, kind of like they didn't want to be involved in it. Or is there more? We're going to find out. So Jake gets on the mic and says that Cueto said he could cash this in whenever he wants. He hands over to the ref the Gift of the Gods title, puts Pentagon into the ankle lock. He's going crazy. He probably broke his ankle, you know, whatever. Pentagon passes out. He does not tap out, but he passes out, and Jake Strong is now the Lucha Underground World's Champion. 2 chants of bullshit, which throughout the season, Jake Strong has been booked a little bit weird, and I feel like this is due to like the fluctuating roster. But anyway, as the show ends, Aerostar, King Cuerno, and El Dragon Azteca are standing around wondering what to do with the gauntlet. And Dragon knows what he wants to do, and it won't take long. So Aerostar and Cuerno say, "Okay, go ahead, take it." He goes to where Matanza is, and he brings back Black Lotus. Black Lotus hasn't been seen for like a season or 2. She believed that Dragon Azteca's family killed her family, but it was really Matanza. She knows this now. She puts on the gauntlet and rips out Matanza's heart. She gives the gauntlet back to Dragon. She leaves. Jack Swagger says, "That does not belong to you." Snaps Dragon's ankle, takes the gauntlet, starts beating it off his chest, and the blood's on his chest from Matanza. And he says, "It belongs to us." It's obviously not his voice. So Jack Swagger, it is believed that Jack Swagger's character, aka Jake Strong's character, is a god. So then we see Taya, and Johnny comes up behind her and says, you know, "Did you see my match?" No response. "I thought you were going to be there." No response. "Oh, that's all right. I know you're upset. Let's talk about the honeymoon." She turns around and says, "I'm sorry, Johnny, but I'm not your wife." And she grabs him around the neck and starts throwing him everywhere. And then she slams him and says, and as she's doing this, you hear the Rosa doll laughter in the background. And she says, "I am a god." Then we see Papa Cueto, the Master, Agent Winter, and a limo. Winter says the dissension or ascension is complete. I didn't know which word he said. All of the gods have taken human form, and the championship is now in their control. The Master speaks, but it's so weird and inaudible I couldn't make it out. We see someone in the dark at the end of the limo smoking a cigar. Jake enters the limo. Agent Winter asks whose blood is on his chest. He says Matanza. And Papa Cueto looks sad. We hear a deep voice say in Spanish, "Your son was a worthy host, and the Order will never forget his sacrifice." Suddenly, the voice speaks English. "But now we must find a new host." Agent Winter says, "Yes, my lord." The figure that was smoking the cigar comes forward and he says, "So does anyone else have bad news?" And it's Stu Bennett, a.k.a. Wade Barrett from WWE. And he says, "I guess it's time to take over the world." You would think this is where it ends, but no. It says 1 year ago, 1 year ago, Papa Cueto is at Dario's funeral. And he closes the casket and leaves.
Yeah.
Aerostar comes, opens it, puts the immortality amulet on him and says, "Come with me." Dario sits up, says something that I couldn't make out, and this season ended. Now, some people are saying that this happened a year ago and Dario has been alive this whole season, but I don't believe so. I think it happened in real time, and Aerostar traveled back to 1 year ago. You say what you want, and then I'll get into my thoughts. You can go for the overall grade of the show, too, whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm going to say Ultima Lucha Cuatro Part 2 got the A+ for me.
Me too.
100%. I'm a little sad to see Matanza go because I love that character so much. But I understand. It has to be that way for stories to work. But I'm going to let you go with it.
All right.
Go for it.
This is what I said. Woo! What a fucking show.
Yeah.
Strong as a hateable champ. So with the way things are looking, the LU executives made the right choice in putting the title on him. This master dude, I didn't know who he was. My first thought was El Hijo del Vikingo from AAA, but I did some digging and found out it's played by a guy named Australian Suicide. Lucha Underground filed a trademark for Hexagon Black. He had a hexagon on his mask. This makes sense as Pentagon came from AAA and he was an original foil to Octagon. Apparently the wrestler, it's great to hear bad news come from Stu Bennett. I was so happy about that. All matches and vignettes were fantastic.
Yeah.
This show was brutal, not for the faint of heart. 2 out of the 4 matches were not family friendly at all, unless you're part of the Martinez family, aka the Crazy, Spider, and Butterfly and Moth. Overall, this two-part finale of Season 4 leaves me wanting more. It makes me wonder why it isn't on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
It makes me appreciate a wrestling-based show that has an off-season to where they could work on scripts, work on the in-ring product, work on all that. It also made me appreciate the creative and what they could do with such a fluctuating roster for this season. I really hope we get a Season 5 because the Lucha Underground story is not over. That cliffhanger ending is leading into possibly the last story arc, but no word has been said of Season 5 yet. They all want to do it. El Rey wants to do it, but they need to find more money, I believe, or sponsors. I'm not sure. I give Ultima Lucha Cuatro an A+. Storylines progressed, great production, matches were crazy. It's a breath of fresh air for wrestling fans.
I'll tell you who I wish they could get on board with Lucha Underground would be Mark Cuban. I wish they could get him on board.
But he owns Access TV.
He does.
So
he does. It would involve Lucha moving to Access.
Robert Rodriguez and Mark Cuban should come together and put both make one.
I just want Mark Cuban to throw money at Lucha Underground.
Either that, or like Access and El Rey come together, and it's called Access El Rey, and then it's distributed more places. Because man, I can't find. I don't have Access. I don't have El Rey. I don't have Pop TV. So, just come together and do what's right.
Yeah.
But that's it for episode 16.
That's that.
Hopefully you like the show. Next week, we will be doing predictions for Survivor Series, NXT TakeOver War Games, and we may possibly have a guest to talk about the Jericho Cruise. Sean, anything?
No, that's it for me.
All right.
It's a good one.
Wherever you are in the world, whether it is morning, noon, or night, you have a great one, and peace and love to all.